Welcome to AirPlay Escape. Unlock the full audiobook experience and exclusive perks by joining our Patreon community. Dive deeper into the stories you love. Just click the link in the description below, and thank you for supporting this journey.
Football, Rising from Ruin to Conquer the Monster Player Era. Episode 31. Let's go. The moment the instep made contact with the football, the huge force slammed, and the football flew forward like a cannonball, and Rio Sano didn't have time to step forward to block it, and the football was already heading towards the goal in an oblique line. Moriyama, everyone watched the shot go towards the goal like a cannonball, and Sano Raichi quickly shouted. Goalkeeper Moriyama Mion saw this scene. The whole person was completely tense. The football shot diagonally towards his right dead corner, although Moriyama Mion also reacted, but the speed of this ball was too fast. The power was also very strong. Moriyama barely pounced. Obviously, Moriyama Mion did not expect Li Youran to shoot directly outside the penalty area and did not react at first. When he reacted, it was too late. When he pounced to the right, his hands were fully stretched out to touch the football, but the football directly crossed before the hands. Although it was not lifted, Moriyama barely felt a strong wind sweeping in front of his hand through his gloves, and the power was so amazing that he even doubted that even if he caught it, he could stop it. Boom, knock knock. The ball streaked past Moriyama Mion's hand and pierced the goal, and the ball taught the net, spun it quickly on the net, and only fell from the net to the grass. A moment later, Moriyama barely crouched on the ground, turned to look at the football that had fallen on the grass, and gasped slightly. Beep. Misugi blew the whistle, and the blue team scored a point first, and now it's 1-0. There was a tidal wave of cheers all around. Everyone thought that Li Youran should be able to score, but everyone didn't expect it to come so quickly. It's only been more than 3 minutes since the start of the game, and the goal has already been scored. Li Youran also clenched his fists excitedly and raised his hand. This feeling was good for him. He was finally able to score goals on the court again, and at the same time the blue team members around him gathered excitedly and hugged Li Youran enthusiastically. Yuranjin is too powerful. Haha, I didn't expect to score so quickly. It's really amazing. Thanks to Yuran-kun, the substitutes never imagined that they would be able to score in front of all the starting teams in such a short period of time, and if it weren't for the fact that it was in front of them, it would be hard to believe that this was true. Knowing that they almost scored a moment ago. That's right, with Yuranjin, we will definitely win. Don't be careless. They will definitely guard against long passes and will also increase their defense against me. So next we switched to positional warfare, disrupted their rhythm, and looked for opportunities to grab the ball. Li Youran didn't start swelling just because he scored a goal. Li Youran is very clear that their blue team is equivalent to protecting one more. Except for him, it is impossible to pull the second line of attack. The opposite side is a starter, will definitely work him, will definitely increase the defense against him, and will guard against their long pass advance. But Li Youran is also playing psychological warfare. When the opponent sees them scoring now, they will definitely feel that their morale is high, and they will definitely take advantage of the victory and chase them. Li Youran did the opposite and switched to positional defense, which would definitely be able to disrupt their rhythm. What about after you grab the ball? After hearing Li Youran's words, everyone else nodded in agreement. Just now Li Youran's tactics worked, and now everyone is obviously extremely convinced of him. If you grab the ball, pass it to me, I'll take possession of it. The ball goes to my feet, and the front and midfield all push towards them, Li Youran said to his team members while walking towards his position. But then the defense will. I believe that as long as I don't concede the ball, they can attack, and when they see you advance, they will retreat. Got it? Everyone listened to Li Youran's tactics and didn't think much about it. Even if it was not completed in the end, they would not feel that it was Li Youran's strength problem. Looking at Li Youran, who was communicating with his teammates while returning to the defensive position, a light flashed in the eyes of Jun Sansuji. Outside the court, the actions of the substitutes just now were completely different from the past, and it was obvious that Li Youran let them kick like that. Jun Misugi now sees Li Youran not only superb offensive ability, he was also impressed by his ability to command and adapt on the pitch. I couldn't help but secretly say in my heart, Yuran-kun, maybe it's not just an attacker, and the shooting power just now even stronger than yesterday. Did he retain his strength yesterday? Yuranjin, I must thoroughly understand your strength in this game. The blue team is as imposing as a rainbow, but the red team is not discouraged. Although they were scored, but they did not lose confidence. Because of this, they still think that they just underestimated Li Youran at the beginning, and they also know that Li Youran is their main force as long as they control him. The others didn't need to worry too much, and they had already discussed and began to guard against long passes like before, because they didn't expect that Li Youran's speed was so tricky, as a striker's speed is the strongest weapon. I'm sorry we couldn't stop Yuranjin. On the red team side, the defenders came to Sanada Shinji and others and said, it's okay, I lost the ball. I didn't expect Yuranjin to be so strong. It seems to be stronger than the captain. Sanada Shinji unconsciously looked at his hand, just rushed. He clearly felt Li Youran's power. Now that I understand, I'm keeping an eye on him with Ichiyuki. They can't pull the second offensive line. Don't worry, there are also midfielders and backfielders keeping an eye on their long passes. Minoru Hanma is the number 2 person in the team, and he is still calm at the critical moment and has customized the battle plan to deal with. Understood. The players on both sides are in their respective positions. The game starts again. Li Youran also knows that the other party will increase the defensive strength against himself, but in the current situation of the blue team, even if he knows that the other party will stare at him, he must still shoot himself. One is to complete the task and the other is a matter of no way. In Musashi country, the only ones with offensive ability are on the opposite side, and everyone else's shooting ability is normal and he can't waste time. Episode 32. Then the game resumed, and sure enough, as Li Youran expected, the red team, thinking that the blue team scored a goal, must be a morale increase and launch a fierce attack, so be careful when controlling the ball. But under Li Youran's tactical arrangement, the blue team did not rush forward, which caught the red team that was already ready to meet the crazy pressing of the blue team a little unprepared, while the blue team was defending the position. Not easy to press to ensure the stability of the defense, although the pressing can put pressure on the opponent. However, flaws may also be revealed, and under Li Youran's tactical arrangement, all members gathered in the midfield, including Li Youran, Yasuhiko Ryuzawa, and Hideya Ida, all retired from the front court to help the defense even if the opponent has three main strikers. It is impossible to break through such a defensive formation for a while, although Li Youran's defense is not a strong point, but the 26-put defense in middle school students may not be as good as those top, but defending players like a few people in this real world can still cause pressure. In particular, when facing Li Youran, they are very cautious, mainly because Li Youran is too impressed by their attack. Even if Li Youran's defense is not as good as his attack, they will still be very cautious, so when facing Li Youran, they will always be a little restrained. When Li Youran is staring at the defense, he does not dare to leave the ball at his feet for a long time and will immediately pass the ball out, and Li Youran, because of the speed, the defensive range is very wide in the midfield, gathering midfielders and front court players. It seems a little crowded. Li Youran's speed can always help the defense. The two sides were at a stalemate, and the time came to 14 minutes and 48 seconds. The two sides stalemated for more than 10 minutes. The blue team did not forcibly grab in these 10 minutes, and the red team played cautiously and did not forcibly break through, but as the saying goes, if you can't attack for a long time, you will be killed. In addition, they were ready to face each other's tough pressing at the beginning, but now they have been playing positional battles for 10 minutes, and the rhythm has been disrupted, and at 16 minutes and 12 seconds, when Ichinos was passing, the football was seized by the midfielder Takechi Inoue on the blue team side. Oops, seeing this, Ichinos shouted in panic. Yuran-kun Inoue Takechi did not hesitate here because Li Youran was now in the midfield passing the ball directly. The distance was not too far, so Li Youran also easily stopped the ball. Seeing the scene, Minoru Hanma and Sanada Shinji immediately tensed, and the two approached the defense at the same time. Rush. Li Youran used fancy to control the ball at his feet, did not attack immediately. Minoru Hanma and Sanada Shinji saw this. They were only resisting in front, did not dare to easily step forward to press, did not dare to easily step forward to grab the ball. At this time, under Li Youran's signal, according to the previous tactics on the blue team side, 2 forwards and 3 centers directly abandoned their letting go positions and rushed towards the opponent's front court. Li Youran did not attack rashly, protected the ball with his body and controlled the ball with his feet backwards because Hanma's strength was not too strong. Li Youran mostly pressed his body against him so that he could not exert his strength. Although Sanada Shinji is powerful, his skills are not very good, and Li leisurely controls the ball with his feet to avoid his snatching. What are they going to do? Minoru Hanma saw the scene and found that on the opponent's court, the front court and the midfield were singing their own approach on the court, and then looked at Li Youran, at this time delaying the two of them, and suddenly had a bad premonition. Although the blue team can't pull the second offensive line, but if such a group of people pounce and can't defend, shooting other members will also be, even if they can't shoot like Li Youran's threat, but if there is no one to defend, the possibility of being broken is still very high. Not good. Quickly retreat, Minoru Hanma shouted at his members while scrambling for the ball. It's now. Seeing this, Li Youran seized the opportunity, turned around with his body against Minoru Hanma's body, then raised his big foot and kicked the ball, kicking the ball towards the red team's field with great force, and Li Youran also rushed to the red team's court. Oops, Minoru Hanma panicked. Don't think about running. Sanada Shinji hurriedly caught up and wanted to delay Li Youran, but Li Youran rushed forward and threw Sanada Shinji off. After a while, the football flew to the midfield of the red team because the blue team, the front midfield, all invaded the red team's field. There were enough personnel. Moriguchi won to the first point. The members of the red team immediately pressed up. Moriguchi did not stick to the ball, passed the ball out. Akitoji caught the ball and protected it. Immediately looked for the target of the pass, but saw that at this time Li Youran had run from the backfield, and Weimutoji did not hesitate and passed the ball directly to Li Youran. Don't try to pass easily. On the red team side, midfielder Koji Nishiyama quickly pressed up. Li Youran saw this and stepped on the ball at his feet, and when Koji Nishiyama rushed up, he accelerated sideways and dribbled easily, bypassing Koji Nishiyama's defense, just breaking through Koji Nishiyama's defense at the same time. Li leisurely ran forward with the ball. Even if he was dribbling the ball, it was difficult for the defenders behind him to catch up. When he just broke through the defense and advanced, he saw the defender in front of him, and Wei Xiang Jingguang slid directly to the tackle. Sliding tackles are quite skillful ways of defending, but at the same time they are also dangerous defensive methods, easy to cause fouls. Of course, it is easy to cause injuries to opponents, so in previous lives in general players slip tackles less to grab the ball. But the world is different, and the skill of sliding tackles to grab the ball can also be regarded as a flower. It is not an exaggeration to say that it is not worth the death of the shovel. Li Youran did not panic, stopped the ball, and then lightly picked the ball under the football on his tiptoes, picked the ball into the air, and jumped up with the football, directly dodged Wei Xiang Jingguang's sliding tackle and continued to move forward with the ball. Soon came to Li Yuran's shooting range again. Li Youran single-handedly entered the box, even if he shot from a distance, but the 5% bonus was actually not good to close the distance from the goal. Be sure to catch it this time. Moriyama Mian looked at the scene in front of him, opened his hands, and gritted his teeth to look ahead. Li Youran, who had already raised his big feet. Here it comes. Bang! Coming to the goal, Li Youran decisively stepped out and kicked with all his strength, and the football made a loud noise, directly turning into a straight line towards the goal. Episode 33. This time must be used. Moriyama Mian looked at the trajectory of the football shot, did not think much, and pounced in the direction of the football. Li Youran, this time the distance of the shot is very close. The power is much stronger than the shot outside the penalty area. Although unlike the previous goal, Moriyama Mian did not expect that Li Youran would shoot directly at such a distance, but because the distance was too close, the shooting power was very strong and the ball speed was not something that ordinary people could master. Moriyama Mian had tried his best to save, but still could not fully catch up. Whoosh, so heavy. Although he tried his best, he only barely blocked the football with his left hand, but the strength of the football itself and the high-speed rotation made the power of the football not reduce much, and Moriyama Mian, who had a strength of only 22, had a huge gap with Li Youran in terms of strength. Burst. Although he tried his best, in the end the ball came out of his hand and shot straight into the goal. The strong force tightened the net and fell on the grass. A moment later, Moriyama barely fell on the grass, slightly propped up his body, and turned to look at the falling football behind him and gasped slightly. Damn, obviously received it, or for a goalkeeper, not receiving the ball is nothing, and receiving the ball or failing to hold it is even more a blow to confidence. Yay! Pretty. When the blue team saw this scene, they rushed to Li Youran happily, and as soon as he scored, Li Youran, he felt surrounded by the players like stars holding the moon. Li Youran himself was also very enjoyable, happily celebrating with his teammates. Seeing this, Minoru Hanma and the others were helpless. They did their best, but they had to admit that Li Yuran's strength was indeed stronger than them, and even before they felt that he might not be able to compare with the captain, but now it seems that they have to re-examine. Perhaps because Jun Misugi plays midway every time, so it doesn't give people this kind of impact. Li Yuran's shot is clean, and there is not much fancy in technique, but it is that they can score, which makes them think of Hinata Kojiro, and there is not too much skill, but it makes them helpless. The game continued, and the next game, because Li Youran scored twice in 17 minutes and 36 seconds, scored 2 goals in a row, which somewhat damaged the morale of the red team and suppressed the offensive momentum of the red team. But the red team also strengthened its defense, especially against Li Youran, and did not hesitate to use a large number of people to defend him. After all, his shooting is too threatening, so the red team side would rather let others shoot rather than let Li leisurely shoot. Their method really worked, the tactic of one more protection. Once there's a problem on the main side, it is difficult for other members to react immediately. For the rest of the first half, Li Youran did not get another chance to shoot. The game was dragged into the second half. The red team's defensive offensive was still unabated. Li Youran saw this can only increase passing, give the ball to teammates, and try to open up space. At 42 minutes and 17 seconds into the game, the blue team still seized the opportunity with Yasuhiko Ryuzawa and Hideya Ida cooperating with the ball to the opponent's backfield. The red team's defender immediately pressed Yasuhiko. Ryuzawa had no way to break through and finally had the opportunity to kill the opponent's backfield and did not want to give up. I can only cross from the bottom and want to pass the ball to Hideya Ida, who rushes to the center of the backfield, but Hideya Ida's speed can't keep up at all, and Yasuhiko Ryuzawa's ball is too anxious. The power is too great. The ball flies high. Hideya Ida runs in the direction of the ball and will fly over his head according to the force of the football. The red team, seeing the scene, is a good opportunity. This ball is won by them. They have a chance to counterattack. The blue team here moved the formation very deep. The back defense is also much looser, but just when they are about to lose the ball, Li leisurely threw off Sonata. Shinji, who was defending him, rushed to the midfield, and without everyone expecting it, he used his superb bouncing power and explosive power to jump high in the center of the red team's backcourt before the ball flew to the other side of The red team's backfield intercepted the ball with an upside-down golden hook and scored at the same time. No one expected that. Everyone thought that the ball high enough to fly over Aida's head would be intercepted by Li Youran with an upside-down gold hook in the air, and he kicked the ball and scored again, and completed the hat trick. As soon as this goal went to the red team, the confidence was completely lost, and this was an inter-team game, and the victory or defeat was not too important. And even on the field, the gap between football and basketball is a world apart, and after seeing Li Youran's strength, it also makes them feel hopeless. In the next 10 minutes, as long as Li Youran's side defended hard and patiently delayed until the end of the game, the red team side had absolutely no chance, but it did not admit defeat like this, and the game between the two sides continued. Beep. There were only 10 minutes left, and although the sport was miraculous, it was clear that the red team did not have the ability to create miracles and in the end failed to successfully turn over, but in the end, because of the loss of confidence before the end of the game, Li Youran found the opportunity again. At the same time that Jun Masugi blew the whistle at the end of the game, the score was already frozen at 4 o'clock, and the substitute led by Li Youran scored 4 goals, and all 4 goals were scored by Li Youran, not only completing his task, but also exceeding the target. Although being long, this does not increase the reward. Oh! The moment the whistle sounded at the end of the game, there were strong cheers all around, and Li Youran noticed at this time unconsciously there were already people gathered around, and the game was focused at that time, and he didn't pay attention to so many people around. Yuranjin is really powerful, we lost convinced, but next time we'll definitely win. At this time, Minoru Hanma and the others also walked over, shaking their heads and smiling bitterly. They are now convinced, and they have indeed lost completely. It's not my credit alone, you guys played well. Li Youran is not arrogant or impetuous. Even if he wins, he should respect every opponent, and at the same time be grateful to his teammates even if their strength is not strong, but they're all trying their best to cooperate with him. To be reasonable, he is a newcomer and everyone else is willing to listen to his command tactics and cooperate with his actions to win so easily. Episode 34. Yuranjin is really powerful. At this time, Jun Masugi also walked into the field and sincerely admired. That's right, with the addition of Yuranjin, I believe that this time we will be able to win the tryout, the inter-team competition, although it cannot explain anything, but it gives them a lot of encouragement, and the addition of strong reinforcements will naturally bring morale. Let's work together. Li Youran was not anxious when he saw this. Football is a team sport, and he can find that although it is a big victory, there are still some problems with teammates, and there are certain problems in attack and defense. Of course, the reason is also because the ability of other team members is not high. Li Youran can clearly feel that sometimes there will be some problems when receiving and passing, such as when he is attacking. When his teammates pass the ball, he can obviously feel that the passing football is not in the best position. Sometimes he needs to slow down or speed up to get to the passing position, and the same is true at the angle of the pass, and he can't pinpoint the most comfortable position at his feet. Stopping the ball with your feet is the most time-saving, but sometimes because of the problem of passing angles, it is often necessary to stop the ball with your chest so that you can't maintain speed, and after stopping and then running with the ball again, you have to restart and accelerate, and it is easy to be caught up. When he passes, he is not always able to accurately pass to the feet of his teammates. Not that he has a problem with his passing, the main teammates cannot keep up with his rhythm, which can be improved by increasing team cooperation, tacit understanding, but mainly depends on attributes. Team cooperation can reduce some mistakes, but the most important thing is to look at the attributes of the individual. In fact, as long as the attributes are high, even if there is no team cooperation for the time being, the cooperation can be much better than now. Just like Jun Masugi, now Li Youran has not played with him, but if he cooperates with Li Youran, it will definitely be better than others, and Li Youran, relying on his technique, delicate footwork, and passing, can make up for the lack of team tacit understanding. Good, everyone rest for 10 minutes, and then start the basic training. Jun Masugi watched this match, learned about Li Youran's strength, and at the same time saw Li Youran's wonderful performance, and was also looking forward to it. This time they really have a chance. Yes, everyone was greatly encouraged by Li Youran's joining, especially Li Youran is still in the 2nd grade this year. For the main selection of the 3rd grade, Li Youran's strength as a junior is stronger than them, making them even more afraid to snub. Phew. After getting the rest time, Li Youran also sat on the sidelines to rest. Just completed the task. Li Youran just took advantage of the rest time to extract the reward, and at the same time entered his consciousness to check the attributes of the item. Blue skill upgrade card. An item that can be used to upgrade skills below the blue level, and when used it can increase the player's skill by 1 level. Select use to view the skill attributes after the upgrade, and after the decision, if you decide to upgrade, you will use props. Although it is a new prop, but the obvious role that is the props used to upgrade the skill compared to the selection of the task when giving the reward. When the task shows the reward, you cannot see the attributes of the reward, and this prop before using the option to choose, you can see the upgraded skill first. Then determine the upgrade is the real upgrade, which can avoid adding the wrong point, but it is a good feature. This item also has a grade division. It seems that it should be graded like the booster, and he can only use the skills below the blue skill, including the blue skill. That is to say, with this prop you can immediately have a purple skill, and the mood is still a little excited, but you are a little distressed about which skill to upgrade. After all, you can only upgrade one, so you must choose the one with the greatest effect. Li Youran did Not make a rash decision. Today's intra-team competition is over. The next is the basic practice, not much need to use skills, and only 10 minutes of rest. So Li Youran plans to go back and see which skill to upgrade. Just take advantage of the time of basic training. Think about which skill you want to upgrade. Thinking about it, I returned to reality from consciousness. Huh? As soon as his consciousness recovered, he felt something around him, turned his head slightly, and saw a snow-white hand stretched out holding a bottle of sports drink in his hand. Li leisurely looked up and saw a pale and delicate face, which looked like it gave people a cold feeling, but there was a smile at the corner of his mouth like a blooming lily giving people a warm feeling, which formed a contrast with her cold appearance, but had a special taste. You're not this girl. Li Youran still remembers that it was the girl who was almost kicked by the ball outside the court yesterday, and remembers that she paid attention after the match with Sanchon, but she was gone. My name is Siboshin, and I'm a second-year student like you in class 3. The girl spoke in a low voice. The afterglow around Liang, her voice was as cold as her looks, but when she spoke to Li Youran it was as gentle as that smile. Hello, my name is Li Youran. I know I saw your match with Senior Sansuji yesterday, and thank you yesterday girl. No, it's Siboshin, who also responded. It means that she watched yesterday's match, so she also knew his name in Li Yuran's conversation with Masugi Juanda. Huh? Oh, nothing, just a show of hands. Thanks for the drink. Hearing Siboshin thanks, Li Youran was stunned, and then thought of yesterday's incident, which was just a show of hands for him, but still took his drink, meaning to accept her thanks. Seeing Li leisurely took the drink, Siboshin also smiled. Her smile-like eyes were also slightly narrowed because of the smile, as if it had become a pair of crescents, and the slender eyelashes trembled slightly and very temperamental. That I should go. The game just now was exciting. I will come to see you play tomorrow. Siboshin glanced at the opposite side of the field and saw a familiar figure standing on the grassy slope of the court, so he whispered with some regret in his tone. Episode 35. Well, thanks for the drink. When Li Youran heard this, he glanced at Siboshin gaze and found that there was a middle-aged man in a suit standing not far away. It seemed that he should be a bodyguard or something, and it seemed that the identity of this girl was not simple. He said goodbye to her and shook the drink in his hand. You're welcome, see you tomorrow. After the girl left, Li Youran found that at this time his teammates were looking at him with an ambiguous gaze. Li Youran didn't care. They were still students, and in the previous life it was easy to be made fun of. Which female classmate was slightly closer to the middle school, and Li Youran didn't care too much. Who is that girl? It seems to be very familiar with Yuranjin. It's really not ashamed to be so proactive in front of so many people. I already knew that I went to buy drinks for Yuranjin, and tomorrow I will definitely bring drinks to Yuranjin. Come on, Yuran Jr., can't look at you. Are you comparable to others? Who is that girl? That's Sibo of our grade. You better save it. She is the most beautiful girl in our grade. She has a good family, and she is a rare talented girl you can't compare. Unconsciously, Li Youran through the competition just now, but also received a lot of female fans in the past. Most of the female students came to Sanchon this time. Li Youran came. It can be regarded as sharing some firepower for him, but hearing a classmate say that, many female classmates are heartbroken. Sansuji has Aoba Yayoi, and now there is another one that is as popular as Sansuji, and he actually killed a Chung biting gold halfway. However, their thoughts. Li Youran did not have time to pay attention after the rest. He quickly put into training again until the sky darkened, and then ended the day's training. After Jun Masugi announced his dismissal, everyone returned to the dressing room to take a shower and change clothes. Li Youran came to the gate of the school. The driver has been waiting for a long time. At noon, after Li Yuran's baby invitation agreed to join, he had already called home in advance and explained the situation to Lu Bo, so the driver also knew that Li Youran would leave school late. When he returned home, it was just the time to eat, because Li Tian usually went home at a time that was not certain, so Li Youran ate with his mother. After dinner, Li leisurely rested for a while, then went to his own stadium. The lights shone on the court, no different from the day. Blue power shot. A shot commonly used by attackers to exert pride and knock all the players in front of him away. Power. B ball speed. C consumption. Large range. Near orbit type. Straight. Blue long-range shooter, an essential skill for attackers, increases shooting power by 5% when shooting from a distance. Effective range outside the box. Blue upside-down golden hook. Kicks the ball on the head with his back to the ground, allowing the audience to watch the gorgeous aerial shot. Power. B ball speed. B consumption. Large range. Near orbit type. Straight. Blue acceleration dribbling. Use quick movements to temporarily speed up and flash opponents' skills from the side. Strength. None skill. C speed. B consumption. Medium. Blue power shooter. Increases the power of any shot by 5%. White cycling. Dodge opponents with movements that span the ball, but the movements are slower. Power. None skill. D speed. D consumption. Medium. Coming to the court, Li Youran first opened his skill panel. The rewards obtained in the previous team competition. Now is the time to use it. What he now has is these skills: 2 passive skills, 4 active skills, 5 blue skills, and 1 white skill. But there is only 1 upgrade card. Pedaling a bicycle is not considered at all. The skills of long-range shooters are good, but after all there are still restrictions. You must shoot outside the box to be triggered, and long-range shots are fine for goalkeepers like Mion Moriyama. If you encounter a strong goalkeeper, the 5% boost has no effect at all, and the long-range shot is still not as good. good as the shot close to the goal, so don't consider it for the time being, so the remaining options are to choose between power shot, power shooter, upside down golden hook, and acceleration dribbling. The upside down golden hook is indeed useful, but after all it is not used much more than the ground shot, so to choose between the two shots it must be a power shot. As for acceleration dribbling and power shooters, it is more difficult to choose. By improving your acceleration dribbling you can get better offensive ability, and the same is true for powerful shooters. The difference is that one can be single-bladed while the other is a direct attack, but it is mainly up to others to cooperate with themselves, and it seems that upgrading the acceleration dribbling will be better. If football is one-on-one, acceleration dribbling is undoubtedly the best, but football is a team sport. The most important thing is that there is now a skilled Jun Masugi in the team. I believe that as long as he can play he will definitely be able to give himself good support. Li Youran still decided to take a look first the upgraded attributes before speaking. Blue acceleration dribbling, purple light speed dribbling, a dribble that lowers your posture and accelerates with all your strength to prevent your opponent's eyes from having a chance to react. Power, none skill, C speed, S consumption, medium. Blue power shot, purple blaster shot, a shot that is infused with the strength of your whole body and kicked with strong force that looks like a football kick, and the flaw is large when cast. Power, a ball speed, a consumption, large range, medium track type, straight. Blue power shooter, purple super power shooter, increases the power of any shot by 10% and depletes the mentality of the goalkeeper in a small amount. After kicking the upside down golden hook, the remaining 3 skills, the attributes after the upgrade, are in front of you. I have to say that the purple skill is indeed drooling when you see it, and after accelerating the dribble upgrade both skill and speed have been greatly improved, which is a very good choice. S-class speed rare in this period. You must know that in the Ashika series, the Island Country Junior High School ace striker Nida Instant, who is famous for his speed. When he was in middle school, he had fast feet of 100 meters and 11 seconds, and he was also very rare in dribbling speed. Now Li Youran is not sure if his dribbling can reach the speed of S. Episode 36. So far I don't have a skill that can have the attribute of S, but the upper limit of this move is very low. The skill is still only C in the game. With those master speed alone is not enough. Maybe the current opponent can't react, but it's different on a world-class court. Next is the upgraded power shooting attribute. The explosive shot listens to the name to know the power type of the shot is also a straight line, but the double attribute is indeed too strong. The double A attribute reflects the power of the skill, not only powerful. The rate of fire is also very amazing. The two cooperate. That is, those who can catch up with the ball may not be able to block the force, and those who can block the power may not be able to catch up with the ball. At present, Li Youran saw that the attribute was the same as this move, only Sanshan Chun got the crystal upside down golden hook. It is also the attribute of double A, and Jun Masugi's spinning shot power is also a level. In fact, the level of shooting skills, not to say the same power of attributes. Shooting can have a level. Power does not mean that it is kicked out by people. The same powerful shot, if Hinata Kojiro and Jun Masugi were to kick together, it would definitely be stronger. Hinata's shot is also pure power, while Jun Masugi's shot will have that power relying on skill, adding powerful roundabouts on the ball, and rotation enhances power. It is not the power of the shot itself, which is why Jun Sansuji's shooting skill is so powerful, but it is so difficult to block Li Youran's shot. The upper limit of the explosive shot is not high. The installation of the whole body strength consumes a lot, and it is easier to show flaws so that it will be easily interrupted by the opponent. Even if it is not interrupted, it is easy to affect the power and accuracy of the shot if it is interfered. Finally, there is the power shooter. The power is increased by 5% compared to before, although it is not much, but in the case of close shooting it is enough to easily climb the power shot to the A level, and the long-range shot can also get a 15% buff, which increases the power of the long shot. It also comes with a small buff which consumes the spirit of the goalkeeper, because the goalkeeper must maintain a high level of spirit to make a save, and if the spirit is relaxed it is easy to be won by the opponent, and sometimes the shooting is too powerful and it is difficult for the goalkeeper to fully hold the ball. Once the ball is saved, the supplementary shot is also a very particular science, but also the attacker must have consumed the spirit of the goalkeeper, which can greatly improve the chance of scoring the second shot. You know, like those bug-level goalkeepers, it is not difficult to save 4 or 5 goals in a row. If you have this trick, each supplementary shot can consume a little spirit of the opponent, and sooner or later you will be able to find a chance to break the goal. If you shoot, there are still 2 months to refine your shot, and you should still be able to receive tasks in 2 months, but the super powerful shooter is indeed a panacea skill. Upgrade the power shooter. After thinking for a while, Li Youran finally decided on the skill to upgrade. Byte, use the blue skill upgrade card to upgrade the power shooter. Upgrade. Byte, upgrade successful. Blue power shooter upgraded successfully. Gain the skill purple super power shooter. Name: Li Youran. Age: 14. Good foot: right reverse foot. D grade. Location: ST. Dribble: 28. Shot: 47. Physical fitness: 47. Speed: 38. Technology: 25. Offense: 31. Power: 45. Defense: 26. Passing: 22. Steals: 15. Teamwork: 2. After the upgrade, Li Youran also felt a slight change in his body, checked his attributes, and his shooting and strength were slightly improved, although it was only a little. That is because his current abilities are close to the limit of middle school students, so the improvement will be much slower. There is also team cooperation, which has always been 0 before, and now there is also improvement because the original starting line is very low, so it has directly increased a little, which should be increased when they cooperate with the players, and 1 is a basic cooperation, tacit understanding. In the future, I will train in the team and improve. Slowly, but I am not worried. If you come and give it a try. Taking out a football from the basket next to him, Li leisurely walked in the direction of the goal, and that night one of them visited the Li family's manor. Mr. Li, this time I really thank you very much for your strong support for our selection competition. In the Li family's manor, 2 men walked on the road of the manor. One was Li Yuran's father, Li Tiannan, and the other was wearing a white suit, holding a coat in his hand, and a pink shirt with white trousers, showing a slender figure. With long hair, even if it was night, he still wore a pair of sunglasses, and when he talked with Li Tiannan, his tone was very respectful and humble. Don't be so polite. I'm a businessman. Since I will support it, I will definitely not let myself suffer. Li Tiannan responded with a smile. The person in front of him was not long ago in Musashi country visiting Jun Masugi Katagiri Munamasa, a member of the Football Association, and the person in charge of this junior tryout. Although it is supported by the Football Association, football is not developed in the island country, and although there are club leagues, it is not a football powerhouse itself. So most of the players are young and adult players, and the World Junior Championship is the first time it has been held in countries like island countries where football players are not excellent. Not very much like the target West and EU countries. From a young age, there is not too much budget. Then only foreign investment sponsorship. Although Li Tiannan is not an island country, but the family business has always been a sports product, but is a world-famous sports enterprise. Under the company for their own brands and even sponsorship to train many world-famous athletes, naturally became the best candidate for Katagiri Zongjing to find sponsorship, and only peers will be more supportive. What he didn't expect was that when he found Li Tiannan agreed quickly without too much hesitation, which made Katagiri Zongjing feel a little strange. Episode 37. Of course, Li Tiannan is not a philanthropist. He is still a businessman. His requirement is that after the competition, the venue needs to promote Li's products, which is understandable. Many competitions have sponsorship, will be advertised for sponsors, and the other is the competition. From the venue to all the game supplies to use the products of the Li Group, who said that the Li Group will not only fund the competition, but also fund all the supplies of the competition, which is a great thing for the Football Association. Of course, Li Tiannan is actually advertising his own company. Although the Li Group is already a world-class enterprise, no matter what the sponsorship can get this time, at least it is inevitable to be loved by the people of the island country, although it is the first time it has been held, but with the fire of the national competition this time, the selection competition has attracted a lot of attention. Li Tiannan is purely for business, and after hearing the sound, Katagiri Zongjing probably understood what Li Tiannan meant, although it was because of business, but Katagiri Zongjing was still grateful anyway. Still, thank you for your great support. Bang. Huh? What was that? The two were walking in the courtyard, and suddenly there was a sound of hitting sandbags, but much louder perhaps, because the yard was too large and quiet. Oh, it must be my kid practicing in the football field again. Li Tiannan didn't seem surprised when he heard this voice, and when he saw that Katagiri Zong was asking, he opened his mouth to respond. Huh? Do you also play football? Katagiri Zongjing was a little surprised after hearing the sound. He knew that Li Tiannan had an only child, but he didn't know much. But he wasn't too surprised. After all, he was born in such a family, although it is not an athlete family, but after all, it is also related to sports, and it is not surprising that he likes football. Yes, that kid is fascinated by football. Li Tiannan smiled and spoke. Originally, he still retained some observation attitude when he looked at Li Youran, but with this period of time, although it was only a short month, Li Youran showed his love for football, and I heard that he had just joined the school's football team, and you must know that the Musashi Junior High School football team is a top-ranked team in the national competition. This is also the reason why he spent a lot of effort to build a court for Li Youran at home, and now he mentions a little pride as a father in front of Katagiri sect. By the way, Mr. Katagiri used to be a professional player. If you can help me guide my son. Li Tiannan remembered that when Katagi Zong was young, but a professional player, he himself wanted to hire a coach for Li Youran, but the kid refused, and maybe he could let this former island genius see if his son had the talent to become a football player, and if he really had, he would definitely train it with all his might. Okay, there is such an honor to say. From the voice just now, it can be heard that the strength is not small, which makes Katagiri Zongjing very curious, and his intuition tells him to go over to take a look. Li Tiannan was also very happy after hearing Katagiri Zongjing's promise, led the way in front and soon came to the football field. It is worthy of the Li family who built such a luxurious football field at home for the sake of the children. Category sect walked in and secretly said in his heart, looking at the huge football field in front of you, the lights around you seem to be daylight. You know, many places and even many schools are still courts of land. The Li family directly built a regular competition court in their home, and who is as rich as Li can do it. That's my son Li Youran. This year is the second year of junior high school. Li Tian and looked at Li Youran in front of the goal in the field and said. At this time Li Youran did not notice the arrival of his father and category Zongjing at all. His eyes were completely in front of the goal, as if there was only the goal in his eyes and the football was in front. At this moment, standing outside the penalty area, the football is not far in front of him and the big penalty area is more than 10 meters away from the goal. Looking at the location where Li Youran is, stand in that position? Category Zongjing was a little surprised. For ordinary people, even if they're unguarded, it is not easy to shoot from outside the big restricted area. Click. This is. Before Li Tian could speak, Li Youran had already moved, and Category Zongjing also stared seriously, feeling that the moment Li Youran ran towards the football, the momentum of the whole person changed abruptly. Li Yuran's height gave people a feeling of being a little thin, but the momentum at this moment made people dare not despise it. Bang! Li Youran kicked on the football. The huge force, the football dented and deformed. Bang! Like an explosion, the sound echoed in the football field. The football directly turned into a straight line directly towards the goal, and even the sound of the friction between the football and the air could be heard. Burst! Yikes! In the blink of an eye, the football had pierced through the goal. Tense, the white net rotated at high speed, hovered above the net for a long time before finally falling on the grass and bouncing open, and the eyes under the sunglasses of Category saw Mesa in the distance were full of surprise. The hand holding the coat couldn't help but grasp a lot tighter. Li Tian and just knows that his son has improved rapidly recently, but it is not clear what degree of Chengdu will be, nor is it clear what level he has reached in front of a former professional player like Category Zongjing. If he can see Category Zongjing's eyes now, he should be very proud. How? Li Tian spoke only to call Category Zongjing back from the shock. Seeing Category Zongjing's reaction, Li Tian saw it a little and couldn't help but secretly say in his heart, is his son really a football genius? But it is not certain that the Black Sea is advantageous. 10. It's amazing. The shot that Kagongzi just shot was indeed very amazing, as if it's like seeing Jito. No, it should be Hinata from Toho. Power Shot is Jito's masterpiece. Just from the shot it looks very similar to Power Shot, but the action is not as big as Jito's Hiroshi. That is to say, the flaw is smaller, but the power is much sharper than Jito's shot, and the ball has increased rotation, making the ball sharper. And still at such a distance, still maintaining such power, it really made him feel very amazing. Originally wanted to say Jito Hiro, but felt that this is still underestimated the power. Last time Fujio was stronger, but in simple than the power of shooting. Kojiro is far better than Jito Hiro. Episode 38. Hiroshi Jito is physically powerful, while Hinata Kojiro's lower set strength is even better, and just now Li Yuran's shot, the strength and the sharpness of the ball's rotation are higher than Jito's, which is worse than Hinata, but it is not the gap in their foot power, but the gap in shooting. Li Yuran's shooting ceiling is limited and his power is far inferior to the Tiger shot. If Li Youran can also shoot the Tiger, then he believes that he will definitely not be inferior to Hinata. Category Saminasa mentioned Hinata Kojiro. Li Tian still knows some time ago in the National Junior High School National Competition, the captain of the Toho group who performed well, and the person with the same name as the genius Daiki. It's not long since this kid and his family started playing football, and Category Samesa has such an evaluation, and there is no doubt that a real genius can do it. Li Tian was surprised and proud in his heart. Mr. Category has won the prize leisurely. However, Chairman Li's face remained calm, and although he was proud, he did not show it, but he was happy in his heart and shouted into the stadium at the same time. Li Youran, who heard the voice, turned to look and found that it was his father, and there was another person he had never met, but his image felt very familiar to Li Youran, especially the sunglasses that he had not taken off at night, and he couldn't help but turn and walk towards the outside of the stadium. Youran, this is Mr. Category, a member of the Island Football Association, and he used to be a great professional footballer. Li Tian and Li Youran introduced Category Zongjing. Li Youran also felt a little surprised. This person is indeed Category Zongjing. Li Yuran's impression of him is that every time the protagonist Dekong E is in the game, he will stand on the sidelines and watch silent, and always wearing sunglasses, and even makes people have the illusion of a villain. But in fact, no, Category Samian has always been committed to the development of football in the island country, and he was also an island football player, and he was also a player named a genius like the Big Air Wing. It was once considered by the island football community to be the only player who had hoped to get out of the island country, in the small world. Before Okuyoshi and others grew up, no player in the island country had ever walked out of the island country's gates, but his experience was similar to his own hatred, and he originally thought that the future was bright, but Category Munamesa was not. able to continue his football career. After being injured in the game, he was not in a good state and finally slowly faded out of the football arena. The former genius had to quit the stadium. He lovely leisurely looked at him somewhat with the same feeling of pity, subconsciously used the system to check. However, it was found that there was no effect. It seems that the system's attribute snooping can only be used on players, even if Katajiri Samesa used to be a player, but now it is not, so he can't check his information. Somewhat disappointed, even if he hasn't played football for many years. Li Youran still wants to see what the attributes of professional players who are no longer players in this world are. Although Katajiri Samesa is only an island professional player, there is still a gap compared to world-class players, but it can be borrowed a little. Because in this world, even if it is only the national professional level, the strength is far more than the world-class stars in the previous life, which is a completely different concept, so Li Youran hopes to understand it, but if it doesn't work, there is no way. Li Youran was looking at Katajiri Samesa at the same time. Katajiri Samesa was also looking at Li Youran closely to see that his body was still very thin. He didn't expect to burst out that kind of strength. You must know that when he just made a comparison with Li Youran, he is always compared with third-year players such as Hinata, Kojiro, and Jito Hiroshi. I feel that they're not up and down, but what is even more terrifying when I think of another point is that Li Youran is a second-year student and he already has such foot strength and shooting skills. At present, the best second-year students in the island country are Mitsuru Sano, Takashi Sawada, and Shuei Nida. He has seen it all, but just from the shot I am afraid that even Nida instant cannot be compared with Li Youran. Counting the age of Li Youran reaches the 3rd grade, I don't know how much he has grown. Hello Katajiri-san, nice to meet you. Li Youran didn't know what Kataitsu Zongjin was thinking, but he was a little strange why Katajiri Zongjin came to their house. Hello, I just didn't expect to see such a wonderful shot today. Mr. Katajiri, what do you think of his technique? Is there anything I need guidance on? At this time, Li Tianan also spoke at the same time, obviously wanting to let Katagong Zong come to point out Li Youran's ball skills. To be honest, from the point of view of shooting technique alone, it is rare in junior high school students. I haven't touched football for a long time. I'm afraid there is no way to give Yuranjin any good guidance. Katajiri Zongjing's technology is far less than it was at the beginning, but the vision is still there. With his current ability, I am afraid that the words of guidance are not qualified, and if he forcibly bites the bullet, he will mislead people, so he didn't say much. He could only analyze it from his own point of view. But I just saw that Yuranjin's shot seems to be trying to increase the rotation of the ball to increase the speed of the ball. Yes, Li Youran was a little surprised after hearing the sound, just looked at it once, and he saw his own thoughts. The power shot with his physical fitness and lower set power. The power is not small, but it is definitely not enough to deal with the following game, so he tried to improve the shot as much as possible. Under his improvement, the shooting power has increased a lot, but the power has reached the upper limit of the power shot, so to increase the shooting power, you can only increase the rotation and rate of fire, but if you put too much footwork on the rotation, you can't exert such power, so you can't improve it too much. I don't know how to teach you how to increase the power of your shots, but I used to be an attacker, but I'm not a power type, so I put all my shots into the rotational rate of fire. It's been a long time, but I think it's okay if it can help you. Katajiri Samesa took off his leather shoes and walked into the stadium. There were no spikes that fit him, but walking into the stadium wearing leather shoes, he felt that it was disrespectful to Li Youran. Note: regarding the female character, the bottle did not chase anything because I want to write island comics, so I searched for any good-looking sister paper, and then a lot appeared. Picked a good-looking age is similar, will integrate other elements, but does not plan to add other comics. This type of work, emotional drama, everyone does not have to care. In fact, in the small foot, the emotional drama itself is also very unimportant. It can be said that most of the other half of the young generals are brought from a very young age. The 3 giants of the island country are all childhood sweethearts, including foreign countries like Li Yun, but Li Yun seems to be more pitiful. It can be seen that the author does not want to spend too much time on drawing emotional scenes. We will have more than comics here, but not much. So don't get entangled. Where did the female character come from? Whether it will destroy the balance of the world, and so on. The bottle is not chased, it is indeed just a random one. Episode 39. And if you want to shoot barefoot is much more bally than wearing leather shoes. Li Youran is also very curious when he sees this in the entire foot series. Katajiri Samesa has never shown his ball skills. He is really curious about what kind of shot Katajiri Samesa can play. Li Youran walked in with him, then handed the football to Katajiri Samesa, then gave way and watched from the side. At the same time, walked to the edge of the field, opened the camera mount placed on the side of the field. Usually Li Youran, in order to hone his shots, will record his training. After finishing training, I will observe my shot. The shooting place is not done well. The shooting place can be corrected. At this time, it can be recorded. I haven't been in contact with football for a long time, and Katajiri Samesa is definitely not comparable to before, but he still has some sense of the ball, although his skills will decline quickly, but he still exercises regularly and his physical Fitness is good. Katajiri Zongjing flipped the ball a little adapted, and then after the football fell he stepped on the ball, and then retreated. Li Youran also looked seriously, and soon Katajiri Zongjing's temperament changed abruptly, and his eyes under sunglasses flashed a fine light. Bang! Barefoot on the grass rushed towards the football in front of him, kicked on the football. Even without shoes you can still hear a strong bang. The football burst out of the air as if turned into a ray of light. The speed is difficult to capture. Compared with the speed of the power shot, it is more than twice as fast, and the fast football hole penetrates the goal, spins above the net for a while, and then slowly falls. It can be seen that the power is not very strong, but the ball speed is indeed very amazing. Such a speed, depending on the shooting posture of Samesa Katajiri. Just now the ankle joint is completely stretched, and when the ball leaves the ankle joint the toes provoke the football so that the ball produces extremely high rotation speed and rate of fire, but this method completely abandons the power and stills everything in the shooting speed. It can be seen that Katajiri Samesa really hasn't played for a long time, but he can still shoot so sharply, which shows that this shot is much faster at his peak. This shot is called a sonic shot. You should also be able to see that this shot is an absolute high-speed shot, but the strength is not excellent, only to keep increasing the rate of fire, otherwise the goalkeeper who can catch can easily stop. Katajiri Samesa also breathed a sigh of relief. To be honest, he hadn't played for so long. He was really a little worried that he couldn't make it, and now it seems that although it doesn't have the power of the past, it is at least decent. Thank you very much for your advice. Li Youran politely bowed slightly to Katajiri Zongjing. He needs a high-speed shot for reference, and Katajiri is just in the snow, and it is normal to express his gratitude. You're welcome. I hope it can help you. No matter what the reason, Yugong was supported by the Li group, and it was natural to teach them their shooting, and you privately looked at Li Youran in front of him to love, and only then taught his stunts. I think I can use it. By the way, why did Mr. Katajiri come to my house? The draft is about to be held in the island country, and Katajiri sect came to talk to me about cooperation. At this time Li Tian, who had been unable to interject, came over and just saw that they were chatting so well he didn't interrupt until now. Li Youran asked, "Cooperation?" That's right, because the island country has always been a relatively backward country in football. It is the first time to hold such a match, and the expenses of the Football Association are spent on older players' matches, and there is no extra cost this time. It is really thanks to Mr. Li's support. Katajiri did not hide it either. So it is. Li Youran is now training so hard just to be able to play in the draft. This is also to complete the task, although he should not be selected. After all, he is not an island person, but in order to reward, he still has to participate. I didn't expect that his family sponsored this match, but it just so happened that he didn't like to owe favors to others, so it happened to be a return to Katajiri Zong's favor whether or not he taught himself to shoot, because his family sponsored them. Li Youran felt that it didn't matter. After all, people haven't played football for so many years, and it's already good to be willing to risk a possible loss of face to teach themselves to shoot. Then I won't bother you, Li said leisurely and walked back into the stadium again. And Li Tian invited Katong Zongjing to talk elsewhere, and Kataitong Zongjing did not object, walked to the sidelines, put on his shoes, and prepared to leave with Li Tian, but before leaving he couldn't help but turn his head and glance at the figure in the field. Alas, what a pity. Katajiri Zong is a bit of a pity. Li Youran is not an island countryman. If he is in this competition, he believes that this kid will definitely shine, even not losing to Tsubasa and Hinata, and can become the pillar of the island country team like them. If he can join the World Junior Championship, it will definitely be a tiger with wings, but it is a pity that this time the conference is a representative team, which really makes Katajiri Samesa feel very pity. Katajiri Zongjing left with Li Tianan, and Li Youran was in the field holding the camera just now to observe the shot just now, and the ball shot out really needed to be slowed down to see clearly, but the main thing was to learn Katajiri Zongjing's shooting action. Roughly remembered in his mind, Li Youran began to practice. After several times of strengthening, Li Youran's physical talent became very amazing. The approximate movements can imitate the similarity of 7 or 8 points, but to complete completely you need to practice more. The skill of the shot is not very difficult, not like the skill type of the volley shot. It is still a straight shot. The grade should not be high, so it should not be too difficult to learn. By the time Li Jimei came to call Li Youran to sleep, Li Youran had almost mastered the knock of the shot, but the speed of shooting was not as fast as Katajiri Zongjing, and with the increase of proficiency, Li Youran believed that he could master it in a short time. I thought about tomorrow when I got to school, and I tried again to see how it worked. Episode 40. Lu Bo, I'm done eating. I run to school, and I don't have to let the driver pick me up after school. Li Youran got up for breakfast at 5 o'clock in the morning, and then went out with a football in his sportswear, and spoke to the housekeeper at the same time. He plans to go to school early to practice, mainly to get acquainted first, and then try the effect of the new shot with his teammates at home. After all, there is no one to guard the goal. Less young master, there are more than 20 kilometers in school. Lu Bo couldn't help but want to say it when he heard it, but before KM could say it, Li Youran was already gone. Of course, Li Youran himself knows the distance of the school, but after remembering the school route, he does not plan to let his family come to pick up and drop off often. He plans to run to school and after school so that he can exercise his physical fitness, and although more than 20 kilometers is a long way, he is not afraid. In the world of young soccer players, even a supporting team like Otomo Kuni Junior High School practices a 30-kilometer run every day. Not to mention the training of strong teams in other schools going back and forth to school and from school. Just about 40 kilometers is the best way to improve physical fitness at present, and his physical fitness is not bad now, so he is not worried that he will not be able to eat. 40 minutes later. Haha. More than 40 minutes later, Li Youran came to the school gate. His face was already soaked with sweat, his clothes were already soaked, and his breath was a little disordered. When I arrived at the school, I entered the school with a football in my hand, and now I am also a celebrity in the school, and I met many people on the road to say hello, and Li Youran also responded politely one by one. Soon, I came to the football field, and when I came over, I found that some of my teammates were already on the field. Most of them ride their own bikes to school or walk to school near the school, or they are staying. The competition is approaching. They all come to train early. Li Youran actually got up not later than them, but it took more time to run over. Yuranjin early. When I saw Li Youran coming over, I all greeted Li Youran. Early Li Youran also responded walking from the school gate. His breathing had calmed down a little, but the sweat beads on his face still did not dry. Sweating so much wouldn't be running to school, would it? Minoru Hanma, who had already come early, looked at Li Youran sweating profusely and couldn't help but ask, practice physical fitness. Can you ask how far are you from school? They know that Li Youran's physical fitness is very good. Running so tired. How far has he run? A little curious. About 20 kilometers. Monster. Everyone was speechless for a while. Running to the school 20 kilometers early in the morning, it seemed that there was nothing at all. It was simply a monster to describe, and it secretly stimulated them in their opinion. Li Youran is not a genius who is lost to Jun Sansuji, but he is still so hard they are even less able to be lazy. Moriyama, do shooting practice with me. After easing his breath, Li Youran said to Moriyama Mion, not far away. Good originally thought that Li Youran wanted to rest for a while, but he didn't expect to directly ask for practice shooting, but he didn't think much. After putting on gloves, he walked to the goal, and his expression became serious. He knew that Li Youran shot very powerful. Even if you can receive the ball, you may not be able to block it, so you are extremely cautious, and your feet are unconsciously stable, so that you can send more strength to save the ball and quickly do a goal guarding posture. I'm ready. Good. Li Youran still came to the free throw line outside the penalty area and put the football on the ground. It wasn't the first time for others to watch Li Youran shoot, but they couldn't help but stop and watch. I'm coming, but concentrate. Li Youran looked at Moriyama Mion and reminded him again, because this shot would be different from his previous shot. Of course, a trace of sweat appeared on Moriyama Mion's forehead, and he secretly said in his heart, don't worry about it, I also know that you should concentrate. In the face of such an attacker, no goalkeeper dares to let his guard down. Seeing this, Li Youran also began to retreat, then frowned and rushed towards the football in front. Call. It's different from the previous shooting stance. Minoru Hanma and the others stood around watching Li leisurely rush to the front of the football. The shooting action was somewhat different from before, and Moriyama Mion's expression also changed. Bang. Li Youran kicked on the football. Bang. The football flew out like a child and drew a straight line in the air that could not be captured by the naked eye, really like a bullet, and everyone around seemed to hear a sonic boom like a sound streak. Burst. The football pierced the goal and tightened the net in an instant, and Moriyama was now open and his pupils narrowed, still maintaining the posture of guarding the goal. Before he had time to react, he already heard the sound of the football entering the goal and only turned his head in surprise after a moment looking at the football that fell to the ground, and the others were also stunned. By congratulations to the host master, the blue skill, sonic shot. Blue sonic shot, a super fast shot that uses the speed of the ball that is difficult for the goalkeeper to react. Power, C ball speed, S consumption, large range, near orbit type. Straight. If there is no system, you can't learn other skills. Relying on yourself, you can still learn other skills, and Li Youran has never felt that with a system you no longer need to work hard, but I didn't expect to be able to master this shot so quickly. However, from the current situation, the difference between purple skills and blue skills is huge, because purple skills are skills that can be used on the world stage, and blue skills are almost meaningful. So blue skills, as long as the talent is high enough and the physical condition is good enough to be able to learn quickly, such as Katajiri Zongjing, who has not played football for many years. His current physical fitness is not as good as Li Youran, and the goal requires footwork and lower set strength, which are Li Youran's two most powerful abilities now, and it is naturally fast to learn.